Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. From the course of characterization technique, today we will study the properties of X-rays. X-rays was first discovered in 1895 by a German physicist Röntgen and were named because their nature was unknown. It was a very new rays which name is not known by any person, so the German physicist gave it the name as X-rays due to its unknown nature. Unlike the ordinary light, these rays were invisible. They are more penetrating because they are highly energetic X-rays and they could pass through the human body, wood, quite thick pieces of metals and other opaque objects. They travel in a straight line and affect the photographic plate like light. So afterward, today we will know that the X-rays are the electromagnetic radiation of exactly the same nature as light but of very much shorter wavelength because its energy is very high. The unit of X-ray is Armstrong, or we can write in 10 raised to power 8 centimeter. The X-ray used in diffraction have wavelength lying approximately in the range of 0.5 to 2.5 Armstrong, where the wavelength of the visible light is 600 Armstrong. It is the reason that this wavelength is used to investigate the crystal structure due to its wavelength. The SI unit for the wavelength in the X-ray region, that is equal to 1, or we can say that 10 raised to power minus 9 or 10 Armstrong, that is equal to 1 nanometer. X-rays are the monochromatic beam having the single wavelength. It is traveling along the x-axis. Then if the X-rays are traveling along x-axis, then an electric field is also associated with it in the y direction and the magnetic field in the z direction, because we know that in electromagnetic radiation we possess both electric and magnetic fields, and electric and magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other. If the electric field is confined its xy plane, then the wave travels along the wave is said to be plane polarized. In a complete unpolarized wave, the electric field E and the magnetic field vector H can assume in all the direction in y and z plane because it is unpolarized wave. For example, in the plane polarized wave, consider E is not constant with the time but varies from a maximum in plus y direction through 0 to maximum in the minus y direction. So due to this motion in positive y direction and negative y direction passing through the 0, it behaves like a sinusoidal wave and back again at any point in the space, say x is equal to 0, just like this wave. At any instant of time, say t is equal to 0, this is the t is equal to 0, varies in the same fashion with the distance along the x-axis. Their variation is uniformly distributed along x-axis. If both the variation are assumed to be sinusoidal, mean this just like this wave sinusoidal, then we can express this in the form of this equation: E is equal to a sine 2 pi x divided by lambda minus nu t, where we know that a is the amplitude of the wave, this is the height from the 0 to this amplitude, and lambda is the wavelength. Wavelength is the distance traveled from the one thrust and one trough, and nu is the frequency. Frequency means the number of cycles per second. So it's mean we can write this in the form of equation. The variation of E is not necessarily sinusoidal. E may be vary in the form of sinusoidal, it may be vary in sawtooth wave or in any other type of wave. But the very important thing is the periodicity. The periodicity means it repeats its cycles again and again. The wavelength and the frequency are connected by the relation we know lambda is equal to c over nu, where c is the velocity of light, that is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second, and where the electromagnetic radiation such as beam of X-rays carries energies and the rate of flow. What is the intensity? Intensity, the rate of flow of this energy through the unit area that is perpendicular to the direction of motion of the wave is called the intensity. Intensity is always, sometimes we take the intensity as an arbitrary unit. We will discuss it in this slide. The average value of the intensity is always proportional to the square of the amplitude of the wave, that is the square of the amplitude of the wave. Intensity is measured in joules per meter square per second, but this measurement is a difficult one and is seldom carried out. Most of the X-ray intensity are made relative basis in arbitrary unit. As I have told you before, that we always take the intensity as arbitrary units, such as the degree of blackening of the photographic film exposed to the X-ray beam. So we can take the intensity as the arbitrary units. If the blackening of the photographic film is high, so the intensity is high. If the blackening of the photographic film is low, then the intensity will be low. An accelerated electric charge radiate energy, mean the electron which absorb the energy from outside photon, then it can absorb the energy and go to its higher energy level, and after some time it come back to its original state. So this accelerated electric charge is responsible for the radiation of the energy. The acceleration may be due to the positive or negative charges. Yes, electron is the negative charge and nucleus is the positive charge. So electron may be excited or de-excited. Similarly, the photon may be excited or de-excited. Due to the excitation and de-excitation of the electron, the X-rays will be emitted. If the nucleus is excited or de-excited, then the gamma rays will be emitted. So now we are talking about the electron excitation and de-excitation. So the charge continuously oscillating and about some mean position act as an excellent source of the electromagnetic radiation. This concept will be clear by if we are assuming that an electron absorb energy from the case shell and it jumps to the higher energy states and then come back to its original orbit, that is the case shell, and then again it absorb the energy and go to the excited state, and this process is continuously running. Then this is the excellent source of electromagnetic radiations. And what are the radio waves? Radio waves, for example, are produced by oscillation of the charge back and forth in the broadcasting antenna, and whereas the visible light by oscillating electrons in the atom of substance emitting the light frequency of the radiation is the same as the frequency of the oscillator which produce it. So the frequency depends upon the production, that is the oscillator which produce that frequency. In each case, according to there are two types of the theories. One is the classical theory, that is the old theory, and other is the quantum theory. So according to the we have the dual nature of the radiations. According to the classical theory, electromagnetic radiation behave like a wave motion, while according to the quantum theory, the electromagnetic radiations can also be considered as a stream of the particles called quanta or the photons. Each photon has the energy h nu. A link is provided between the two point of views, that is the classical theory and the quantum theory. So due to this linkage, because we can use the frequency of the wave motion, that is the frequency of the wave motion from the classical theory, to calculate the energy of the photon from the quantum theory. So we can calculate the energy of the photon very easily by taking the frequency of the wave from the classical theory. Thank you very much for your attention.